Dear friends, in the previous class we discussed about problems on Pythagoras theorem and as well as corners of Pythagoras theorem. So I told you, we discussed so many problems. You solve the remaining problems which are present in the exercise. If you solve it, it will remain in your mind for a long time. Is it? You do it. If you find it difficult, please meet me. Okay? So now let us pass on to the next concept in mathematics. What is the next concept? Now let us take some examples. What are those examples? Let us take 2x, 3x minus 4, y minus 5. We may take some examples like this. And also you may consider 2x equals 6, 3x minus 4 equals 8, y minus 5 equals 10. You may consider some examples like this. Can you find the difference between these two? Can you find the difference between these two? What about this and what about this? Can you distinguish them? Okay, what is the difference? The difference is here one more element is here. What is this? Equal. Is it right? So here there is no equal in these elements. Is it? Then what are these? What are these and what are these? Okay, we have UVA. These are called as mathematical expression. These are called as expressions. Then what are these? These are called as mathematical equations. These are called as the equations and these are called as the expressions. What do you mean by an expression? Mathematical expression. What is the mathematical expression? The sum, difference or multiplication between, is it right, variable and a constant. The sum, you can take sum here, you can take 5x plus 3 like this. The sum, difference or multiplication between, what is that? Variable and the constants. Is it? So if you write like that, if you write variable and the constant in this way, then it is called as expressions or expression, mathematical expression. Is it right? So now there are two types of expression. One is numerical expression, another one is algebraic expression. These are all algebraic expression. Why? Here the expression is associated with constant and as well as the variable. Is it right? So numerical expression means like this: 2 plus 3, 5 minus 2. These are called as numerical expressions. There is no variable. Here the numeral and the constants and the variables are associated and they are called as the algebraic expressions. They are called as the algebraic expressions. What about this? Here it's a numerical expression, algebraic expression, numerical expression, algebraic expression, numerical expression, algebraic expression. That means we can notice two expressions here, and in between two expressions we come across what do you call it as equal. We come across what do you call it as equal. Is it right? Such mathematical statements we call it as equations. If the equal exists between the two expressions, One is numerical expression and another one is algebraic expression. And such mathematical statements we call it as equations. We call it as equations. Equal in this equation, this is called as LHS. We call it as, and this is called as RHS. Equal na edugade iroduna LHS anta karithivi. That is left hand side. We call it as left hand side part of the equation. This is called as the RHS, right hand side part of the equation. Is it right? So like this. This is called as, what do you call it as? Equation and as well as expression. Now, what do you mean by linear equation? We have taken the word linear equation. Now let us think about linear equation. What about linear equation? ನೀವು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ನ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಬರೆಯೋಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ನೀವೇ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್? ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ವಿ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್? ಇಫ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಟೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ಸ್ we call it as equation. For example, like this, x equals 3. You see, this is it? Now take 2x plus 3 equals 5. Like this. And also we consider equals 0. 3xy minus 2 equals 7. Consider this. These equations, these are all equations, no doubt. Is it? Now find out the variable. In all these equations, find out the variable. What is the variable here? X. What is its power? Its power, highest power. The highest power is 1 here. Here highest power is 1 here. The highest power is called as degree. We call it as 2x plus 3 equals 5. Its variable is x. Highest power is 1. Now, inno ashte ide alva. Highest power of this variable, this variable. This variable, this variable. In this variable, in this equation, there are the two variables, x and y. One term alle, this is single term. Here variable है, ये तरह variable में दिया होता, it is set 2 that 1 plus 1. Degree of the variable is 2 here. 1 plus 1 is 2. अंत है पतली. ये तरह है 1 the highest degree. Highest degree is 2. Now if the equation exists like this, if the highest degree of the variable is 1, highest degree of the variable is 1, then that equation we call it as linear equation. What do you mean by linear equation? Linear equation is a mathematical equation in which highest degree of the variable is 1. If the highest degree of the variable is 1, then such an equation we call it as linear equation. Is it? So now here these are all linear equations. This is an example of the numerical. Is it? So what is the general form of linear equation? We call it as general form of linear equation is y equals mx plus c anta helbodu. This is the general form of linear equation. Linear equation. Idu varate 1 by 1, highest degree is 1, is highest degree is 1. M and c are constants here. M and c are constant means m is a number and c is a numeral. It's a real number. Is it? This is called as the general form of linear equation. Is it? General form of linear equation. Now we have seen what is the linear equation. Now how to solve it? Solve it again. One then let us take 2x equals 6. And then 3x plus 5 equals 7. Is it right? So you may take x minus 3 equals 8 like this. You take some linear equations having only one variable. Here it is only one variable. Linear equation in one variable. Only one variable is there. The solution is very easy. Now you see 2x equals 6. In solve you can take solve. How do you solve these linear equations? X equals cross multiply 6 by 2. 2 1s are 2 3s are x equals 3. Is it now here? How do you solve this one? But first idana ನಾವು ಈಗ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಇದು ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇಂದ ರೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. So 3x equals 7 minus 5. When you transfer it, the sign changes. Plus 5 ನ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ minus 5 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇಂದ ರೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸೋದು ಅಥವಾ ರೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇಂದ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸೋದು. 3x equals 7 minus 5. So 3x equals, what is 7 minus 5? It is 2. X equals 2 by 3 like this. X value is 2 by 3. Now here, very simple, x equals, transfer, it will become plus. 8 plus 3, 11. X equals 11. This is the way how we solve linear equation in one variable. Linear equation, one variable. Linear equation, one variable ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತ linear equations ನ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆಗ್ಬೋದಾ? Now we should pass on to linear equations in two variables. ಆಗ್ಬೋದಾ? Linear equation in two variables. Now let us take in two variables. ಹಾಗೆ very simple, take x plus y equals 8. Is it? X minus y is equal to 6. 2x plus 3 equals 7. 2x plus 3 equals 7y. You see? Like this, 3x minus y equals 7. These are some of the linear equations. What is linear equation? Just consider here only one variable. Its degree is 1, its degree is 1. Here it is 1, here it is 1. Here it is 1, here it is 1. Here it is 1, here it is 1. Highest degree of the variable is only 1. Now in previous examples are ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಏನದು xy plus 3 equals 0 ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ it is not a linear equation. It is not a linear equation. ನೋಡಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ರೆ two variables ನಡುವೆ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1 plus 1 ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿ 2 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? Between the two variables, if multiplication exists, is it? Then we consider the highest degree as 1 plus 1 as 2. Now here in between the two variables, here is plus, here is minus. ಆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮೈನಸ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ ಅಂತಲೇ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ 1 ಅಂತಲೇ ಕೊಟ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್. ಅದು ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನಾವು then if it is not a linear equation, now let us consider the linear equations. In all these linear equations, there are two variables where highest power is 1. ಎರಡು ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಗಳಿವೆ, ಅವುಗಳ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪವರ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 1 ಇದೆ. ಈ ತರ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟೂ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್. Is it right? Linear equation in two variables. If two variables exist in a linear equation, if two variables exist in a linear equation and the highest degree of those, what you call it as the variables, is equal to 1, then those equations we call it as linear equation in two variables. We call it as, is it? In the mathematical equation, if the two variables exist and the highest degree of those two variables is 1, then such a linear equations we call it as, such a linear equation we call it as linear equation in two variables. Is it? Linear equation in two variables ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ನಾವು linear equation in one variable, we have solved many problems regarding with linear equation in one variable. One variable ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಹೌದಾ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತಾ? ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ. Is it? So now what is that? Next one is general form of linear equation in two variables. In two variables. You see, general form of linear equation in two variables. How do you consider? So we consider like this. What? a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. This is called as general form of linear equation, where, you see, general form of linear equation where a1, b1 and c1 belongs to the set of real numbers. Set of real numbers x and y are variables. You see, x and y are variables. a1, b1, c1 are real constants. They are called as, they belong to the set of real numbers. They belong to the set of real number means real constants. a1, b1, c1 belongs to the R, where a1 and b1 should not be equal to 0. Real numbers are 0 irukalla. That is, a1 is not equal to 0 and as well as b1 is not equal to 0. ಅವೆರಡು 0 ಆಗಿರಬಾರದು. ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? ಒಂದು ಆಗಿರಬಾರ್ದಾಗೆ ಈ ಟೂ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಟೂ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 0 ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ a1 x into 0 0 ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಒನ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒನ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ a1 should not be equal to 0, b1 should not be equal to 0. What is the general form of linear equation in two variables? a1x plus b1y plus c1 equals 0, where a1, b1 and c1 are real constants, x and y are variables. a1 is not equal to 0, b1 is not equal to 0. This is called as, what do you call it as? General form of linear equation in two variables. Now let us try, is it possible to solve the linear equation in two variables? Linear equation one variable, we have solved it. Is it possible to solve linear equation in two variables? Let us take. Let us take this expression or equation x plus, let us take this equation x plus y equals 8. So what are the solve means? What do you meaning of solve? Solve means find the value of the variable in any way. Your variable ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So what is that? X plus y equals 8. X plus y equals 8 ಅಂತ ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ಬರೀತೀನಿ 0 plus 8 equals 8. ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ? x equals 0, y equals 8, 8 plus 0 8. Possible. Next, 1 plus 7 equals 8. 2 plus 6 equals 8. Is it? Agalla? Agate. 3 plus 5 equals 8. Nodi. Next, 4 plus 4 equals 8. Many solutions. If you get only one x plus y equals 8, this x plus y equals 8, many solutions. There is no constant solution. A single solution ಇರಲ್ಲ. Here x equals 4 ಆಗಬಹುದು, y equals equals a. ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬಹುದು ನೋಡಿ. Therefore, if you consider this type of linear equation in two variables, if you consider a single linear equation in two variables, they possess plenty of solutions. That is solutions. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ how to find what is the exact value of x and y? Exact value of x and y ಹೇಗೆ? We cannot find if the only one equation is given. Now to solve this equation in two variables, we consider two linear equations. We are going to consider two linear equations in two variables. We consider to solve. Is it right? Then in such a case we call it as pair of linear equations in two variables. We shall take up now. So far we learnt about what is a linear equation in two variables. Now to solve the linear equation in two variables, we consider two linear equations in the two same variables. Two linear equations in two variables having the same variable. Is it right? So now that we call it as a pair of linear equations in two variables. Why do you consider a pair? To solve it. To get an exact value for the variable, we are going to consider pair of linear equations. Is it right? In two variables. Single variable idre solve ಮಾಡಬಿಡಬಹುದು. Two variables ಇದ್ದಾಗ solve ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಅದೇ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಎರಡು ಈ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? Two linear equations in the same two variables are called a pair of linear equations in two variables. Example, x plus y equals 8, x minus y equals 2. This is one pair of linear equation. ನೋಡಿ ಇದು one pair of linear equation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. x plus y equals 8, x minus y equals 2, like this. Equals 2x plus y equals 8, 3x minus 2y equals 7, like this. Is it? So in that way we are going to write the two linear equations having the same variables. ಎರಡು linear equation ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ xy ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೂ xy ಇರಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ xy ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೂ xy ಇರಬೇಕು. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಎರಡು linear equation ನ ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನೇನಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ? pair of linear equations in two variables. Now let us consider what? Let us consider what is the general form of pair of linear equations in two variables. What is the general form? Pair of linear equations in two variables. What is its general form? We have seen what is the general form of linear equation in two variables. We have seen what is the general form of linear equation in two variables. ಎರಡು ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಜನರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದೇ ತರ ಇದು ಬರೆದಿದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ a1 x plus b1y plus c1 equals 0, a2 x plus b2y plus c2 equals 0. This pair of linear equations are called as general form of linear equations. General form of pair of linear equations in two variables. What are those? We have taken a1, b1, c1. Here a1, b1, c1, a2, b2, c2 belongs to the set of real numbers. They are real constants. What is that? X and y are variables. X and y are variables where A1, is it right? B1, A2, B2 should not be equal to 0. A1, B1, A2, B2 should not be equal to 0. In number C1, is it right? This is called as general form of linear equation. We call it as general form of pair of linear equations in two variables. Is it? Now let us take some other concept. Graph of linear equation. Graph of linear equation. In 9th standard you have learned it. In 9th standard you have learned it. ಅದನ್ನ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, the graph of linear equation is a straight line. The graph of linear equation is a straight line. ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಲೈನ್ x plus y equals a ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ you will get a straight line. ಒಂದು straight line ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. So if you draw a graph like this is the x axis and this is the y axis and this is the, what is that, point of origin. Then you will get x plus y equals a. One straight line ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ like this. One straight line ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. So this straight line represents x plus y equals a. Therefore, the graph of a linear equation is a straight line. This straight line represents y equals mx plus we call it as y equals mx plus b. That is the standard form of linear equation in two variables. ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇನಾದರೂ ನೀವು ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ you will get a straight line. What is the graph of a linear equation? The graph of a linear equation is a straight line. Now let us take, if you plot pair of linear equations, if you plot pair of linear equations in two variables, pair of linear equations na ನೀವು ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಲೈನು ನೋಡಿ. ಪೈರ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಎರಡು ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಎರಡು ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ಸ್ನ ಒಂದೇ ಗ್ರಾಫಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದೇ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಶೀಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ನೋಡಿ. ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್, ಹೀಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಟೂ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ they may intersect at a single point. One single point ನಾವು intersect ಆಗಬಹುದು. ಅಥವಾ you see like this, one equation will be like this and another equation is also on the same line like this. ಒಂದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಲೈನ್ ಬರಬಹುದು. Is it right? So ನೋಡಿ here ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು, if the two lines intersect, they have a solution. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. The solution is consistent solution ಇದೆ, exact solution ಇರುತ್ತೆ. You see, if a line y equals mx plus c, one line, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲೈನ್ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ we say that they have plenty of solutions. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಹೀಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. They never intersect. What is that? They may be parallel. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಎರಡು ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. They are consistent pair because they possess the exact solution. They are plenty of solution. They are coincident. They are called as the coincident lines. That means they have plenty of solutions. They do not have any kind of solutions. What is that? The second case. This is pair of parallel lines, they do not have any solution. They are called as inconsistent. Inconsistent. They are inconsistent. They are consistent. They are coincident lines. Is it? So therefore, if you plot these simultaneous linear equations, pair of linear equations in two variables are also called as simultaneous linear equations. If you plot these simultaneous linear equations, you will get three types of lines. One is consistent pair, and another one is coincident pair, another one is inconsistent pair. Now let us, in the next class, we shall see when, in what condition the pair of linear equations are consistent, and what condition that is pair of linear equations are inconsistent, and in what condition the pair of linear equations are coincident. We shall take up in the next class. Okay. Thank you very much.